How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Creative Collision Podcast. This is your host, Saeed here. And I'm back. It's been a minute since I recorded a podcast. I've been actually getting new equipment. Bought myself a MacBook Air, brand new, stepping up my game here. So trying to get, settled in. These last couple months have been crazy, of course. We're still dealing with COVID, and it's getting a lot worse during this time of the year in the winter. So took a little bit of a hiatus, got new equipment, worked on some other things, and getting back to it now. So on this podcast, what I'm going to talk about is the NBA season. I'm going to have some predictions. As I'm recording this podcast, it's Tuesday, the 22nd of December. So it's opening night in the NBA. We got two games today. Lakers versus Clippers. Lakers celebrating their championship, their ring ceremony, and then Brooklyn is playing. Who are they playing again? I'm sorry, let me double check that. I just know they're playing. Brooklyn is playing the Warriors. So you got Warriors, Nets, and Clippers, Lakers. Opening night in the NBA here. So very exciting. Kevin Durant back. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he looks, what he can do. He looked good in the preseason. He looked like the Kevin Durant of old. So I'm hoping he plays up to that standard that we're used to seeing him since I drafted him first on my fantasy team this year. And then Lakers Clippers. So the Lakers have a whole new squad. I never talked about the championship after they won. So just kind of reflecting back on that as a Laker fan, it was just so exciting to see them win, and it was such a crazy season. We weren't sure if we're ever gonna finish the season for a time there, and to not only get through the season, but the season win was definitely one of the best moments of the year in a year that's been so crazy, 2020. Two great things happened this year for me personally: the Lakers winning and the Dodgers winning. So I think I did do a podcast about the Lakers winning. I know I didn't really talk about the Dodgers winning afterwards. That's when I went on my hiatus and getting new equipment. But Lakers defending their title. So starting the season, defending their title, but it's definitely a different squad from last year. Usually when you see championship teams and they try to go for a repeat, a back-to-back, you don't really see the teams change too much. There's not a lot of turnover in the roster, and you understand that most of the time because you just won a championship. So why would you want to change anything or just dramatically do anything drastic? There's like a few key moves, usually a couple free agents, like role guys, but you don't really see this much turnover. Pretty much half the Lakers roster is different, if not more than half, right? So the additions from this year were great additions: Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, Wes Matthews. So basically, they lost Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, so they got smaller, but they got more athletic, a little younger. Was Harrell and Schroeder, and then Wes Matthews basically replaced Danny Green. So they're a little younger, more athletic, and they don't have to rely on LeBron as much during the regular season because they got they got other scorers. Like last year, if LeBron wasn't on the court, they didn't really have a lot of offense, a lot of creators, right? It was really LeBron and AD carrying the offense. If Kuzma had a hot game, then sometimes Kuzma can go off, get you 25, but for the most part, it was all LeBron and AD. But this year, they added the top two guys and sixth man of the year last year, Montrezl Harrell, who won it, and then Schroeder, and both guys can get you 20 a game like nothing. So going to be really exciting to see what they can do this year. Yeah, then the wild card player is Taylor Horton Tucker. So that's THT went off in the preseason, really impressed everybody. We got to see if the Lakers can try to find some and some playing time for him, which I think he will, at least for the beginning of the season. He played so well in the preseason. Early on, I don't expect LeBron to be playing 35 minutes a game. I don't expect. AD will play more minutes than LeBron early on because he's younger and he can carry the team a little more. But with LeBron probably not playing heavy minutes early on, I think THT will find some. They'll find some playing time for THT. They're not gonna. They're just gonna rely more on the younger guys, the younger legs in the beginning of the season. So guys like Schroeder, Harrell, THT, Kuzma, I think those guys are gonna get more minutes early on, and the veterans, of course LeBron and then like Wes Matthews, who's a little older, Marcus Gasol, they're not gonna play heavy minutes early on. LeBron will ease his way into the season and kind of, he knows how to take care of his body better than anybody probably in the history of the NBA, and he knows it's really all about the playoffs. So because of that, I feel like the younger players are gonna have much more of a bigger role during the regular season this year. So I still fully expect the Lakers to be the 1 seed, even if they're kind of on cruise control in some parts during the season. I do feel they're not going to be as dominant during the regular season as they were last year, especially on the defensive end. Defense is something you really have to be focused on, and you have to be like ready and you have to want to play defense. And it's easy to get a little lazy from time to time on defense. And last year, the Lakers were so locked in on the defensive end from the beginning, where this year, I don't really, I think they're going to have a little bit of a fallback on the defensive end. Still going to be one of the better defensive teams in the league, though. But because of that, they might not have as strong as a regular season as last year. But I still fully expect them to be the number 1 seed because they're just so much more talented than everybody else. The gap between the Lakers and the rest of the West is bigger than it was last year. So I still fully expect them to be the number 1 seed and get to the finals and win, and repeat. I don't see why they can't. The only teams I see that can possibly stop the Lakers from repeating, if Kevin Durant is, what he was before the Achilles injury, you can't count Brooklyn out. And it's not just because of KD, also Kyrie. If Kyrie is playing like the Kyrie that we're used to seeing, and he's already kind of rubbed people the wrong way with some of his comments already. But if he just focuses on basketball like he said he's doing this year, and does his thing, that's a great 1-2 combo with KD and Kyrie, and also the role players on that team. It's a deep team, Joe Harris, who they re-signed, one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. Karis LeVert is he's basically an all-star caliber player as a 6-man, Spencer Dinwiddie as well. Jared Allen is solid. DeAndre Jordan is still good defensive player, still has value to him. So if that team's healthy and Kevin Durant is still that guy, they can possibly give a Lakers a run for their money. And the Clippers, if it depends. I don't know if the Clippers get any better. I think Serge Ibaka's a better fit for them than Harrell was. But some of the other moves they made, Luke Kennard is nice, but he's not like a game changer. And other than that, they brought back the same team, so they still have the same holes they had from last year. They need. Lou Williams is still going to be a liability come playoff time. He's kind of unplayable sometimes because he gets picked on the defensive end. And then they only have one real 7-footer, which it might not be as big of a deal because the Lakers are smaller now in the front court. Last year it was like 3 7-footers, and with Dwight and AD and JaVale McGee. Not only were they three legit big men, but they were all athletic and they pretty much just dominated inside. And this year, the Lakers don't really have that same physical presence, that size that they had last year. So that benefits the Clippers a little more because the Clippers don't really have to worry about that matchup as much. They can play a little smaller and play with the Lakers. But I still don't see how. I do like Tyronn Lue. I think Tyronn Lue is better for the Clippers than Doc Rivers, but he still had the same flaws. He still had the same holes. I don't see it. I just don't see how the Clippers are gonna get past the Lakers. So they still probably will be top 2-3 seed. I think they probably will. Well, I don't wanna like bet it or guarantee it. They might get to the conference finals this year. I'll leave it at that. They might get to the conference finals, but I'm not sure if the Clippers are still better than the Nuggets or the Mavericks. I think the Mavs are going to take another step up. I think the Nuggets, even though they lost Jeremy Grant, they're still going to be viable. I think Jeremy Grant's actually, I'll say a little overvalued. The loss of Jeremy Grant was seen as this huge loss for the Nuggets. I mean, it was a loss, but for whatever reason, now he's seen as this like lockdown defender that the Nuggets lost, and he's versatile and has a lot of value to him. But if Michael Porter steps up his game, takes it to another level, and improves on the defensive end, then he can make up that value that they lost from Jeremy Grant. And Jamal Murray just builds up on what he did last year in the bubble, or this last season in the bubble. Then the Nuggets could have a big three with Jokic, Murray, and Porter. So don't sleep on them still. Don't sleep on the Mavericks with Luka. Luka's the MVP favorite. I think he'll win it this year. He should be the favorite to win the MVP this year. That team was close to beating the Clippers too. A lot more closer than what the series turned out to be. But Porzingis is still hurt, so we'll see what happens with that. But they're going to be in it. And after the Lakers, I think it's really tight between about 2 or 3, 4 teams in that mix to get to the conference finals and challenge the Lakers. But regardless, I don't really think it's going to matter. I think the Lakers will get back to the finals, no problem, and they'll repeat. And the East, if Durant's healthy, I think they're the favorite. The Bucks, I still have to see it with Giannis in the playoffs. The book is out on him on what to do in the playoffs against him, so I'm not gonna. I wouldn't say they'll get to the finals unless I have to see it first. Basically, with the Bucks, I have to see Giannis take that next step before I predict them to get to the finals this year. And then Sixers are going to be better. I think they'll be in the running there. They'll be a sleeper to get to the finals. The Celtics, I think, still lack. I mean, Tatum gets better every year, but I still think they need a little more. They need that true number one. We'll see if Tatum takes that next step to be like that number one guy that can kind of carry a team. They're still one of the deeper teams in the league, but they have some flaws too that they didn't really address that much. Kemba Walker is good, but again, come playoff time, because of his size, he can be a tough matchup, and on the defensive end where he can be a liability, and I don't know. I don't really see it with the Celtics either. So the West is, as always, more stacked from top to bottom. The East I think did get better. There's players going from the West to the East that's benefited them. So we'll see, and we'll see what happens with James Harden. If James Harden gets traded, of course that's going to shake up the league to whatever team he gets traded to as well. So excited for this new season. Glad to see it. We're back this quickly with the NBA season. Hopefully everything turns out well, and there's no COVID outbreaks, and the NBA has done such a good job, way better than any of the other major sports when it comes to handling COVID, and and protocol. They had zero positive cases during the bubble, so that was great. And they've done a great job. So hopefully that continues this year, and we get a great NBA season and the Lakers repeat. That's my prediction. My final prediction, I'm gonna say Lakers over Brooklyn. That's gonna be my prediction. Lakers over Brooklyn. MVP Luka Doncic. Defensive Player of the Year AD. Rookie of the Year, I think I'm actually gonna go with LaMelo. I think he's gonna get so much more playing time, and he's gonna have the ball in his hand so much more than just about any other rookie. So he'll have his turnovers. He'll have a lot of bad games, but LaMelo will also have a lot of good moments that his passing's really really impressive. So he'll struggle with his shot, just kind of like how Alonzo did when he came in too. And Alonzo still kind of struggles with his shot, but Alonzo's still an impactful player. So I think LaMelo will be in that same mold, a little better than what Alonzo was his rookie year, and I think that will be enough to win Rookie of the Year. And let's see what other awards. Most Improved, I don't really want to have a prediction for that. It's kind of a hard one to predict for Most Improved. Trying to think of a name that comes to mind for Most Improved Player. I'll go Michael Porter Jr. We'll just go with that. And I said Defensive Player of the Year. I think AD will win it because I think the media looks at it as he should have won it last year. So I think he'll get those that vote this year. I think that's all the key awards for the most part. That's all the main awards. So trying to think, is that it? Yeah, that should be it. That's all the main awards. So yeah, those are my predictions. Very excited for this upcoming season, and we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna end this topic here with my NBA talk, NBA predictions, starting this new season here. And one more thing I want to talk about on this podcast. I want to talk about the Mandalorian just for a little bit. Any Star Wars fans, Mandalorian fans that listen to this, the season finale, season 2 just ended. So this is full spoiler alert, spoiler warning. So getting that out there right now. But yeah, I mean, Mandalorian, what they've done with that show, Dave Filoni and just everybody kind of handling that show. They've brought back Star Wars again after such a low with the trilogy. This Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker. I'm still, I just still can't believe how bad they kind of messed up this last trilogy. But nonetheless, they've corrected some of their mistakes, and the Mandalorian is the best thing that's happened in the Star Wars universe since since the original trilogy. It's been so fun to watch, and that season finale with Luke coming in is exactly what we wanted. As Star Wars fans, people that are diehard Star Wars fans, it's what we wanted out of the movies, out of The Rise of Skywalker, The Last Jedi. Out of these movies, we wanted to see that type of power from Luke. We wanted to see Luke as this all-powerful Jedi, and kind of kick ass the way he did in the finale. He made those for those people that watched it, again, spoiler alert. He came in and pretty much saved the whole crew, the Mandalorian and everybody else, and took Baby Yoda with him, Grogu, to train him. So he just cut down those Dark Troopers like it was nothing. It was fun to watch, and they were very reminiscent of the Darth Vader scene from Rogue One when he was in the hallway, just butchered and slaughtered all the rebels in that hallway. Similar scene, similar type of vibe, with Luke coming in and just slaughtering the Dark Troopers like it was nothing. They did such a good job of kind of showing how tough the Dark Troopers were because of the earlier scene, how they set it up with the Mandalorian having that one-on-one fight with the Dark Trooper, and he was struggling. He barely was able to beat one Dark Trooper. So when Luke comes in, and he comes in kicking ass and just basically like it was practice for him, like he was doing it in his sleep, just killing off all the Dark Troopers, and it made you kind of see how strong he is, and that's barely scratching the surface, you would think, right, with Luke. So it was just, I didn't think they would do that. I mean, that was so surprising. I know that was the theories that people had, that like, oh, I don't want to call him Baby Yoda anymore, but Grogu was calling out to Luke, and it for sure, it was him. So the only thing that kind of sucks because of the movies exist is we know where Luke's story's going. We know what ends up happening. So yeah, he took Grogu with him, but now you kind of know that Grogu is either gonna should be really fucked up. He's gonna get killed by Kylo Ren like 20 years later when Kylo fucking slaughters everybody, kills all the Padawans that Luke was training, or maybe he escapes again and maybe Grogu goes off somewhere else. But there's not, because we know where Luke's story ends up going, there's not a lot of freedom they have. It limits their creativity with Grogu and Luke together. But nonetheless, it was still great to see that, and see Luke just be the badass Jedi that he was supposed to be, and not like this old, like, grouchy guy that doesn't give a shit about anything anymore, doesn't give a shit about Jedi and anymore and all that shit. So like they portrayed him in The Last Jedi. So that was good. Hopefully that they continue with how they're carrying the show, and obviously there's gonna be all these other shows coming out too that as well. That's all gonna tie into the Star Wars universe here, or all these shows are probably all tie in each other. I know from what I heard, they're going for like a Marvel Cinematic Universe type of storyline with all these shows, where everybody has their own show, and then eventually the story comes together, whether it's in the movie or just another show, whatever it may be. But as long as we got the same showrunners, Dave Filoni's, and yeah, we got, if you have one creative vision, then I'm all for it. The thing that failed with the movies was it was 3 different directors on 3 different movies with 3 different ways they wanted to take the story. So that's why the movies failed so bad as a whole storyline, and it was all over the place and it had so many plot holes. But yeah, I just want to talk about how excited I was for the season 2 finale, and we'll see. It looks like season 3 is going to be about Boba Fett from what the end credits was, the post credit scene, the story of Boba Fett, the book of Boba Fett, they're going to call it. So because pretty much the Mandalorian story arc pretty much finishes with Grogu going off with Luke. The one thing they tease is going to be at some point there's going to be a fight over that dark saber with Bo-Katan. So that's something they definitely tease. But as far as the Mandalorian being the main story, the main character at this point, he might not be the main character of season 3. From what the post credits showed, it looks like it's going to be centered around Boba Fett, and maybe the Mandalorian will have appearances here and there, and that's like a side storyline. So but yeah, I'm excited to see what Disney does with these shows, and hopefully they just continue with these shows and kind of going in the right direction. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for listening. My first podcast on my new equipment here. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Gonna be doing a lot more again, more frequently. So stay tuned, stay posted, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and also if I don't speak to you again, Happy New Year. So take care, be safe, peace.